It's your last day from Sydney, the latest from Podnews.net with CBC Podcasts, looking for their next podcast hit. Today is your last day to fill in the Podnews report card. This year we're giving direct feedback to all the major podcast platforms about what you think, as well as reporting at Podcast Movement about who's improved and who hasn't in the past year. Please take part. It'll take less than 5 minutes, unless you're really slow at typing. Podnews.net/report card is where to go. Open Podcast Analytics Service OP3 has released show stats pages with download data, podcast platforms, countries and more. Podnews links directly to them for any show which uses OP3, like No Agenda or Podchat or Buzzcast or this show. The release also enables additional API calls. Hearts are out, plus signs are in. Spotify has a new way to save your favourite podcasts, merging the like and add to playlist functionality with a plus button instead. iHeartMedia has launched a new podcast brand safety tool with Sounder. The tool claims to be the first to give brands episode-level safety assurance. Libsyn's AdvertiseCast has signed an ad partnership with the Vile Files. The podcast will also use Libsyn's own subscriptions platform and the company's automatic ads solution. A new audio ad marketplace launches in Sydney tomorrow. Audacia is founded by ex-Spotify director Kim Treasure. In the UK, the Birmingham Podcast Festival has been announced, a series of panel discussions and workshops providing top tips and advice. It's on Saturday, April the 22nd. Tickets are less than £15. The Gumball team are running a free webinar today on podcast ad operations. It starts at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. And Veritonic's second Audio Intelligence Summit in New York last week had a record attendance, according to the company. And thank you to Libsyn, who we welcome back as a gold supporter today. Libsyn was the first podcast hosting company in the world, and their support helps us focus on our independent reporting. You can join them at podnews.net/support. In podcast news, the Mark Levin podcast has a new home on YouTube as Cumulus Media launches his official podcast channel there. The channel will contain a number of different segments from the show. The WhiskeyCast podcast has launched a mobile app designed for whiskey enthusiasts to, and I quote, enjoy undiluted cask-strength conversation about all things whiskey. Easy Stories in English has been acquired by Glassbox Media. The show brings 173 episodes and has successfully secured more than 500,000 monthly downloads to the Glassbox Media platform. And Latina hosted and Latine produced the Pulso podcast returns for a new season today, starting with a 2-part series on Latina beauty standards, where they stemmed from and how they show up in modern life. This podcast is sponsored by CBC Podcasts, and CBC Podcasts is looking for its next premium quality narrative podcast series. Do you have a story or partnership to pitch to CBC Podcasts? Sure hope you do, and I look forward to reporting on it if you do. Check out cbc.ca/pitch to find out more. That's cbc.ca/pitch. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.